love and work, work and love, that's all there is. If youth knew, if age could. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. If a man has been his mother's undisputed darling, he retains throughout life the triumphant feeling, the confidence in success, which not seldom brings actual success along with it. The ego is not master in its own house. The goal of all life is death. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want? He that has eyes to see, and ears to hear may convince himself, that no mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips, betrayal oozes out of him at every pore. The mind is like an iceberg, it floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Flowers are restful to look at. They have neither emotions, nor conflicts. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. Civilization began the first time an angry person cast a word instead of a rock. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. A civilization which leaves so large a number of its participants unsatisfied and drives them into revolt, neither has nor deserves the prospect of a lasting existence. The first human, who hurled an insult instead of a stone, was the founder of civilization. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. Every normal person, in fact, is only normal on the average. His ego approximates to that of the psychotic, in some part or other, and to a greater or lesser extent. The conscious mind may be compared to a fountain, playing in the sun and falling back into the great subterranean pool of subconscious, from which it rises. Whoever loves becomes humble. Those who love have, so to speak, pawned a part of their narcissism. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. Neurosis is the inability to tolerate ambiguity. Everywhere I go I find that a poet has been there before me. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. They are legitimately what directs his conduct in the world. The tendency to aggression is an innate, independent, instinctual disposition in man. It constitutes the powerful obstacle to culture. A man who has been the indisputable favorite of his mother keeps for life the feeling of a conqueror. What we call happiness, in the strictest sense, comes from the, preferably sudden, satisfaction of needs, which have been dammed up to a high degree. If you can't do it, give up. The doctor should be opaque to his patients, and like a mirror, should show them nothing but what is shown to him. Religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. Opposition is not necessarily enmity, it is merely misused, and made an occasion for enmity. Where ID was, there ego shall be. Children are completely egoistic, they feel their needs intensely, and strive ruthlessly to satisfy them. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. What progress we are making! In the Middle Ages, they would have burned me. Now they are content with burning my books. One is very crazy when in love. A certain degree of neurosis is of inestimable value as a drive, especially to a psychologist. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. Anatomy is destiny. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. The act of birth is the first experience of anxiety, and thus the source and prototype of the affect of anxiety. Analogies, it is true, decide nothing, but they can make one feel more at home. America is a mistake, a giant mistake. The liberty of the individual is no gift of civilization. It was greatest before there was any civilization. What a distressing contrast there is between the radiant intelligence of the child and the feeble mentality of the average adult. It is impossible to overlook the extent to which civilization is built upon a renunciation of instinct.